Hey everybody, BadServo here. It is about 1 a.m. As you can see, I'm still up. I am up 1 because I don't have to go to work tomorrow, and 2 because I'm kind of an insomniac, and 3 because I've done a little bit of drinking tonight, and that does things to the internals that make it harder to sleep. So, I thought, what better time to do a Rant-Cast? Now, the first question you may be asking yourself is, why is this tubby fuck in front of me sweating like a stuck pig? And the answer to that, my friend, is because surrounding me right now are about 500-watt light bulbs in a room that's like the size of a closet. I record in my office, and it is a very enclosed space, and it is hot as hell, even if you're not dehydrated. So, what are we going to talk about? So one of the first things I want to talk about is just sort of digital media in general. Now, the reason that I want to talk about digital media is, historically I have kind of a collector mentality. You know, I like to obtain things, and I like to keep them whenever possible, and this extends into the digital as well. But, you know, I've come to the conclusion that one of the reasons I like to buy things and have them on tap, I'm kind of an archivist, is because in the past I would watch things over and over and over again, listen to them over and over and over again. I was kind of the media hub of my social set when I was younger because, I had a full-time job once I was out of school, and I had, worked a lot of hours when I was in school. Had a job pretty much ever since I was 15, and so I would buy the new anime releases, the new movies, the new video games, and that sort of shit, and people would come over to my house and check things out every week. So, I might pick up a new tape, and I'd watch it myself and love it, and then 3 days later, a couple of my buddies would come over and we'd watch it, and a few days later, some other people would come over, we'd watch it, and then a few days later, first group of people come over, and they'd bring their fucking girlfriends, and we'd watch it then, and so I'd watch things over and over and over again. But now, there's no time. I don't have the number of people to turn on to new things that I once did. I don't have the time to rewatch things just for my own benefit that I used to. And plus, these days, you have simply a higher influx of new material. For instance, if you're an anime fan, I remember back in the day where an American otaku, without resorting to importing, of course, could buy every single anime release that came out in a given month, and it was not a ridiculous proposition. Now that's just not true, and then you throw that on top of the fact that, now we have the internet, always-on ability to obtain things that haven't even been commercially released yet. The number of great new albums that come out in a given week used to be minuscule, especially if your tastes are kind of, finely honed like mine. Now you can't keep up. I mean, just on the RSS feeds I follow, the number of free albums that people release as torrents on a weekly basis are practically impossible to keep up with. American television and film and foreign stuff, it's overwhelming. So I don't hold on to things like I used to. I don't replay games like I used to. I don't rewatch cinema like I used to. That whole tirade is really superfluous to the point I was making, though. Recently, I decided that none of the games I had on hand in my sort of two-play power grabbed me. I wanted something new. So I went down to one of the local GameStops with the intention of trading in some DVDs for store credit to pick up something new. Because, as I said, I don't really rewatch a lot of stuff anymore. And, I'm usually kind of strapped for cash. It's a down economy, and, money goes other places. So I go to pick up the new game, and I take the DVDs, and I discover that GameStop. So I go to pick up the new game, and I take the DVDs, and I discover that GameStop doesn't accept DVD trade-ins anymore, which is baffling, because I don't know, it's sort of a given that they've always done that. And pretty much none of the places that historically accepted those really do anymore. So now I'm stuck with them. Now in the past, this would not be an issue because you know, hey, so you own some movies, good deal. You can loan them out, whatever, you know, sell them on eBay if you had to. But the current environment where Hollywood is obsessed with fucking selling you the same product over and over and over again, it's getting ridiculous. This is a copy of Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas. Now, I love that movie. It's a great, great movie. Now, this particular copy was given to me as a gift by my beautiful wife. However, this is like the 5th, I think, copy of Nightmare Before Christmas that I have owned over the years. And this is, and that's not even getting into Blu-ray. These are still DVDs. These motherfuckers just keep re-releasing it. Ooh, high bitrate version. Ooh, extra trailer. This one has an extra 45 minutes of making-of footage. This one has the, you know, I don't know, you can trade over to the storyboards. They're always double-dipping, double-dipping, double-dipping. You know? It's even worse if you don't want, you know, actual movies. And if you like TV shows, God forbid you want to get every episode of SpongeBob. You know, it's not enough that they make a season, like season 3 of SpongeBob SquarePants. No, they'll put the seasons out, but they'll break it into microscopic little chunks so they can charge you a shit ton over time. And then in addition to that, they'll take random episodes and throw them together like 2 or 3 to a disc and make a little fun pack. Another thing that Nickelodeon's been doing, especially talking about SpongeBob, is they will take what is essentially just an episode of the show. There's a new episode of the show coming out, and they will hype that shit on the channel for weeks in advance about how it's this spectacle event, like it's a fucking movie or something, and it's just an episode of the show. And like by the time it airs, you can already walk over to Walmart and it's on the shelf as like the cost of a full-length motion picture release, and it's just like a fucking episode. There might be one bonus episode. It just, the greed of Hollywood is staggering. And now you have format changes where, you know, we had the format wars with HD-DVD and Blu-ray to be the DVD successor. In the end, Blu-ray won that battle, whatever the hell that means. So now your DVDs, if you consider yourself a collector, an audiophile, videophile, are fucking obsolete anyway. That's another way of double-dipping. It makes no sense to buy physical media anymore. It's really ridiculous. Especially when you get to Blu-rays. And this is another thing. Like DRM. Fucking DRM has got to stop, Hollywood. And I'm not even joking. And giving us your fucking heavily encrypted digital copy on board with the movie is not helping. Because it doesn't play where I want it to play. It does not help me if it only works on a handful of, you know, devices. And you can preach standards to the fucking sky. Standards won't help this situation. Blu-ray is fucking standard. And when they designed Blu-ray, they made it so that you could upgrade the players, that you could upgrade the devices, so that you can improve things and change things. Well, that's all great, but you know, every other week when they decide they want to change the fucking spec, it is obsoleting a piece of equipment. All the time. You're beholden to the manufacturer of your device. You are trusting that they will continue to release firmware updates for your device just so that you can watch the shit you already bought. Case in point, this week it was just discovered that a firmware update pushed out by, I believe it was Samsung, for a number of their consumer class Blu-ray players, have fixed it so that now you can't play like Warner Brothers and one other studio, I forget what it is, Warner Brothers, Miramax, something like that. But 2 major motion picture studios, you can't play their discs anymore. So like if you had a copy of Watchmen and you watched it on your Samsung player yesterday, and then tonight your player updates, tomorrow guess what? You can't fucking watch Watchmen anymore. And who knows when or if they'll fix that problem. And why do they do this? They do it in the interest of stopping piracy. But who does this stop? This stops the guy who paid $30-40 for a Blu-ray copy of Watchmen, which I might add also had 3 fucking releases. The theatrical, the director's, and the ultimate. That's triple dipping for one movie within like a year time span. Bullshit. It is so much bullshit. Don't fucking fall for that shit, people. So yeah, doesn't stop pirates, hurts legitimate customers. If I were so inclined, I could go online right now, I could download the perfect copy of Watchmen in 1080p, beautiful quality, no DRM problems. I can watch it on my computer, my cell phone, any of the TVs in my house, no problem, and I don't even have to put on pants and go out of the door. That's service. And if they can make that even faster and even simpler for the common Joe for a reasonable, highlight reasonable amount of money, then you really have something. DRM is fucking bullshit. Another point, the company I work for, we do not often have call for a lot of Photoshop work. We do have some Photoshop licenses, but they're very limited. The people that use these licenses are, you know, varied. It's kind of like as a project demands. It's not something that's always in use. Also, some of the people in our marketing department, we've had a little bit of turnover there. So we had a license, it was installed to this person's machine, they used it. They left the company. Their machine was formatted and given to someone else. Time goes by. Months go by. New person assumes position, needs a copy of Photoshop. I go to install it. And it says, oh, you know, you've already installed it. It's just, you know, if you want to use it on another thing, you have to go and uninstall it from the previous computer it was installed on so that we can use it here. But if that installation's been blown away, that's impossible. Gives you no recourse. There's no number you can call to get a code, like Microsoft's annoying fucking setup. You're just boned. Now, we'll let you use it for 30 days, but you got 30 days to fix it. But the problem is, as I said, there's no recourse. If you don't have access to the machine, you can't fix it. You know, I'm sure I could email customer support or something, but I still got to track that info down. Now, if you go to the support website, you will eventually find something that says, if those computers have been lost, stolen, or are no longer available, the software will detect that and fix it. But the shit hasn't been in use for a month. Exactly when does this detection phase kick in? So, I don't know. Very, very frustrating. Sort of coming back around to my original story, though. When I went to the game store, it was my intention to pick up a copy of Red Dead Redemption. I've heard nothing but great things about it. It is definitely on my to-play list. Sadly, they didn't have it. It was sold out, both in new and used copies. Let's talk about used copies. That's something else I want to touch on.